Welcome to We Talk, where we talk about any and everything as a family.
As a family. I'm Stavohn.
I'm Jaevohn.
And I'm Mom. And today we're going to talk about the a case that was actually sent to me by a subscriber. Shout out to you, subscriber.
The original subscriber.
The original subscriber. It's the case of Danye Jones, and this actually happened in 2014.
No. It happened in 2018. 2014 was the...
Oh, my bad. You're right. My bad.
Yeah.
Oh, I got too much going on here. It happened in...
October 17th of 2018.
Yeah, if I read my notes, I'd see that. So, October 17, 2018, activist Melissa McKinney found her 24-year-old son, Danye Jones, hanging from a tree in the backyard of their Spanish Lake, Missouri home. According to the family, the night before, Jones had left his house with a bag as if he was going somewhere. The family later found the bag on the porch. McKinney found her son hanging in the backyard the following morning, where she took him down, but not before she took pictures to document the incident. He was hanging with a bed sheet around his neck, and it was not a bed sheet from their home. And the bed sheet was tied in military-style knots, which Danye would not have known how to tie. He was also, she also stated that he had blood spatter on his shirt and a bruised eyes, and also that there were indentations on his wrist. And also his pants were rolled down, not pulled down, but rolled down.
She also, didn't she say he had a knot on his head?
Yes, he had a knot on his head, yes. Jones and McKinney were both activists in the Ferguson protest, which was in 2014. That's where that 2014 comes in at. In the 2014 shooting death of Michael Brown. The family claims that months before Jones's death, they received death threats and seen random cars parked outside their home. Unfortunately, ultimately, the coroner ruled his death as a suicide, which is, I think that's the route that they immediately took, period. I mean, I don't feel like they even tried to investigate it as anything else.
Yeah.
So, thoughts?
So, what I didn't know originally when I was looking into this, and like what really changed my mind on things, or not changed my mind entirely, but basically like the fact that she took him down, like she found him hanging with his pants like around his ankles. She took the pictures, and then she took him down before calling the police. When the police got there, he wasn't hanging anymore. And so she sort of, messed with the crime scene, which I can't say like if you find your kid hanging to leave them there until the cops show up, but I definitely, like when I learned that she was the one that took him down, I was like, okay, like that definitely messed with the investigation a little bit. But I don't think the police really had any interest in pursuing the case, period, because they like the spokesman for the police said that his body, like there were no signs of trauma or no signs of like a struggle, which is untrue, I guess, because there were a lot of traumatic signs on his body. So I don't know, it really, to me it's like a lynching, like he got lynched.
Absolutely,
like
I agree.
And the police aren't doing anything about it. Like you're just kind of sweeping it under the rug. And that's scary to think about, that people got away with murder. Like, and it wasn't even like they had to try hard to get away with it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Little one.
I mean, I don't know, I agree with what Stavohn said. What throws me off is that, like, where did the bed sheet come from? Because I don't know about y'all, but, like, I don't take bed sheets about the house. Is that something that y'all be doing?
No, but the bed sheet didn't even come from their home.
Yeah, but it could have been his bed sheet because he didn't live with her.
No, he did. He lived there.
He said that he was coming from his home.
No, he lived there. That was their home. He lived there. He was leaving to go somewhere,
Yeah.
but he lived there. And
And
the bed sheet did not come from their home.
Oh, well then where did the bed sheet come from?
I mean that's the
people
thing.
that lynched him.
Like, yeah,
That
it's a
is-
gift.
That itself seems like something that could cause an investigation for something other than suicide. Because you're not going to go out and just buy a brand new sheet to go out.
I mean, and you're not going to pack a bag if you're about to just go to the backyard and kill yourself.
And he didn't even bring the bag with him.
And you're not gonna like start hanging yourself and then somehow pull your own pants down.
Yeah, I mean, how did his pants get down? I mean, they were rolled down. They weren't pulled down. She made it. I listened to her speak on this. I didn't read this part. She said they were rolled down, not pulled down.
Yeah.
So how did his pants get down? I mean, and if you, I don't know how much you know about the history of lynching. That is something that they would do when they lynched. They would pull their pants down in order to humiliate them even further. I mean, but first of all, you're already dead, so how are you going to be humiliated? Because you're dead. But
I mean, but it's like an added shock to the people
Yes.
that find you.
yes,
You
that's,
know?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that, you know, that really sucks. This was the, I think it was the third suspicious death in Spanish Lake or in Ferguson.
In relation to the Ferguson protests.
Yeah. So basically, like, it was the third person connected to a black activist to have been killed in weird circumstances.
And you know, I didn't realize when I initially was looking into this that he himself was an activist too.
Really?
Yeah, so it was him and his mom that did work pertaining to Ferguson.
Well,
So that makes, you know, more sense in a sense.
as to why he was targeted?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because he fits more into the profile of like the other people that died, you know, young African American males. Then she would have fit in there.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, but I don't know. The other two guys were killed the same way, actually. And Danye was the only one who was killed differently, which was, you know, take that however you will, I guess. But
it's not like a serial killer, like, going around lynching people. A lynch is like a gathering of people, so there could be like differences because like different people could come at different times.
So the other two guys might have been killed by the same dude. Same person, same group of people, because they were both shot in the head and then left inside of a burning car.
Yeah, that's an MO.
Like, so two separate instances of this, like, I don't know, of the same like pattern.
Yeah.
That's weird. So, you know, this could be like, you know, just a different person, different group of people who, you know, just have something against the black activists.
I mean, I really find I find it very disturbing that with, you know, the things that, you know, like the bruising on his face, the knot on his head, the knots, the style of the knots that were tied. How do you do those kind of knots to yourself? I mean, I don't understand why they were just so quick to call this a suicide.
Right. Like everything was pointing elsewhere. Like everything was pointing to murder. Like, so I don't know. It definitely does seem like the system's a little jaded out there.
Yeah, I don't agree. It's not a place I would want to live.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's really scary though.
But also, like, I know we talked about, like, other cases in which, like, these activists were murdered, or, like, they died suspiciously.
Yeah.
Because of, like, the Ferguson thing, and they weren't killed in the same style. But there have been, like, also many, like, suicide lynchings, like, lynchings that, like, or suicides that people think are lynchings.
Yeah, suspicious suicides.
Yeah, suspicious suicide, that works better.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, like, it's not uncommon. Or as uncommon as it should be.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree.
I don't know. To think that, like, there is seemingly no consequences for the people who go out and kill a man. Like, who, you know,
Yeah.
like, that's scary to me. To think that, like, these guys who have, like, you know, all this hatred and they have bad intentions and they go out and act on these things, that they face no consequences and no fear of repercussions, really.
Yeah.
Like, if everything's just going to be swept under the rug, that, to me, that makes me think that they might be encouraged to do it more. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
so, I don't know. That, I'm not going to Missouri.
Yeah.
Screw Missouri.
And to our Missouri subscribers, we're sorry. That will not be a stop on the tour.
You should freaking move. Like,
Yeah. Sad. It's really, really sad. But you know, I feel like there's been quite a few well, I'm not even going to say suspicious, because some of them I do believe were just suicides. There's been quite a few deaths surrounding the Ferguson protests. A lot of people who were active in protesting, not a lot, but quite a few people, have just wound up dead. You know, whether it be suicide. The one guy that lived in Ohio, he actually did commit suicide. He came here and shot himself on the steps of the State House, which I thought was really, really tragic. I mean,
was
so
it to, like, I don't know, send a message or?
I don't know, but you
That's
know,
Wait, no, I think I heard about that. I think I know what you're talking about.
But I think that, you know, that only demonstrates how much of a mental toll that being, you know, standing up for what you believe in can take on you. I mean, I'm sure that he had other things going on in his life, but you know, and there was other people who, you know, when you looked at their stories, it's like, well, yeah, it looks like they killed themselves. That was pertaining to, you know, this protest. So, I mean,
I don't know. Like, the mental toll that, you know, being an activist takes on you or whatever. Like, you don't have to be an activist. Like, so I don't know. Like, that's not an excuse to kill yourself.
no, it's not an excuse. I'm not making an excuse, but I mean, I'm sure that when you're standing up for what you believe in and you have such powerful forces against you, that can be hard mentally. I mean, it just really can. I mean, I don't feel like that. I mean, I feel like Danye was definitely murdered.
Yes.
There's no question in my mind that this man was murdered, and it's it's really tragic that, you know, that the law enforcement doesn't care enough to really seriously look into this. And I really feel for his mother. But, I mean, it's awful.
Yeah, and it made me think, because, you know, all of these activists were inspired by the Michael Brown thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, if you kill an activist, you're only going to inspire more activism, right?
Yeah, and yeah.
So what's the goal here for the murderer? Like, you would imagine that they have, like...
Most people aren't thinking that far ahead.
Yeah, I agree.
You hear someone in your community saying stuff that you don't agree with, and you, for whatever reason, as just such a hateful person, know you have the ability to go out and do something about it without repercussions. Like,
what a child you have to be to...
What a child you have to be to think that people don't deserve rights just because of where they were born.
I mean, I don't know. Everybody has their own ideas, whatever. But, like, when you hear someone with ideas that are different than yours, and you think, like, all right, well, gotta go kill that person. Like, I can't let them say ideas that I don't like. Like, I don't understand that.
Because ideas and activism inspire change, and that's not what they're looking for, because once they get changed, they lose power. That's how the whole system is set up. The system isn't set up for minorities to come through and have, like, any sort of power. This country has been ran for hundreds of years on the backs of minorities, with people, typically white men, at the forefront. That is why they are so threatened when anyone tries to speak up for justice, or when anyone tries to speak up for anything that they see as additional, which would really be anything putting us closer to equal, because they know that eventually they won't be put on such a high pedestal anymore.
I guess.
Okay. Final thoughts?
Danye was murdered. He was lynched. It was unjust. It was evil. It was hateful. And, you know, I feel terrible for all the people that knew him, that lost him, and they don't get justice. Like, they don't have, like, the police trying to figure out who did this terrible thing. And so it's terrible. It sucks.
My final thoughts. Danye was lynched. And it's sad. But what makes me even more mad is that the police didn't act like they cared. They denied things that were obviously there, saying there was no foul play, there was no, evidence of harm or whatever. Like, there was. And that was just blatantly disregarded by them. And that's, I don't know, that rubbed me the wrong way. And I feel bad. My heart is out with his mother and everyone else who knew him. Because they had a really good relationship. Him and his mom had a really good relationship. And so that is not good.
I think it's quite evident that Danye was murdered. He was lynched. You know, the person that did this to try to take his dignity, tried to cause fear in the community, and they got away with it. I just don't even understand that. And I know that, you know, not every family is in a position to, you know, will have their own personal autopsy done. But I feel like if this family was in that position, that is what should have been done. You know, because to me, if I'm not mistaken, lynching is a hate crime. Is it not a hate crime?
Yeah.
Okay, so don't hate crimes involve the FBI? Because I kind of feel like if the situation was they could have got their own autopsy and the autopsy showed that he was lynched, then it would have been taken out of the hands of their police department and put in the hands.
Well, that's probably why they didn't rule it as a suicide.
I mean, well, like, proving that it was a murder as opposed to a suicide wouldn't prove that it was a lynching as opposed to just like. I mean,
Come on
do you
now.
do you understand what I'm saying though?
Okay, so what would be the difference between a lynching and a hanging?
Like,
I mean,
How would you know that it's a hate crime? I don't know.
is a black man hanging and his pants are pulled down.
In a traditional lynched
Right,
way.
exactly. I mean, it's not a far leap.
I mean, it's not, and I understand that. I'm just saying that, like, you know, technically, unless you have, like, I don't know, the perpetrator, and they're saying, like, okay, like, were these, like, evil...
Unless
They didn't even get as far to find the perpetrator or even try to find the perpetrator.
What you're trying to say is that unless the N-word was spray painted across the yard or something, then we can't, without a doubt, equate this to a hate crime?
What I'm saying, like, well, how... I don't know. Like, I totally do think that it was a hate crime, like, it was a lynching, but, like, you know... That's just because of how I feel about the thing. Like, so I don't know.
Well, I don't feel like I'm making these comments on how I'm feeling. I mean, I'm making these comments on what I see. I mean, you know, like with the Tamala case, the way that I feel and the evidence that I see were two totally different things. So with this, I'm going by what I see, which happens to be how I feel. So, I mean, it's just really sad, and I really hope that this family gets justice, and my prayers are with his mother and the rest of his family and his friends, and I don't know. It's just a sad, sad world that we still have to go through these types of things.
Well, thank you for joining us here today. Try to have a discussion with your family, see if you can get on the same page.
If not the same page, at least the same chapter.
And if not the same chapter, avoid Missouri at all costs.
Agreed.
I would have to agree on that one.